Now begins part 2. For listeners just now tuning in, Mr. Moody, after meeting an old friend unexpectedly at the Soviet reception, has spotted a now familiar figure.
That's the guy, over there at the bar, with the cigarette holder.
The one with the very pitted face? Why? Who is he?
He's the guy I told you about, the one I met in the park.
That's Mr. Sayadi. He's something or other mysterious in the Turkish diplomatic service. I've met him once or twice. Very well spoken and polite. I think he listens at doors.
Who's that guy with the uniform he's talking to?
Colonel Haki, chief of the secret police here. Acts like a clown, but I don't think he is one, really. Oh, excuse me, Jack. My diplomat is calling. Come by the consulate and see me, though.
Sure I will. Very soon.
My God, Mr. Popescu.
What?
There, with that Italian composer woman.
She was right. There he was, decked out in a pre-war dinner suit that looked like it had helped a whole clan of moths through a series of hard winters. That or he was wearing a black lace waistcoat.
Mr. Popescu, I didn't know you were going to be here.
Nor are you, Miss Fine. I saw you. Please, let me present you my kind patroness, the Contessa d'Ascoli. I should have starved long since if it hadn't been for her. Contessa, Miss Fine, who manages the hotel where I stay.
Pleased to make your acquaintance.
You speak beautiful English, your ladyship.
This is Mr. Moody. He too stays with Miss Sonia. He too has tried to write about what the fascists do and been forced to flee.
Well, I don't know about force. It just seemed like...
I think it's wonderful what men like you and Mr. Popescu have done. It's so important that someone stand up. And I learned my English at Vassar.
How wonderful for you. Mr. Moody, would you hold my purse? It seems heavy all of a sudden.
More of your charity cases, my sweet Isabella. It is your beautiful soul that attracts me to you. Along with those legs, of course.
Signor il Centurione.
The newcomer was a very young man with a Clark Gable mustache, a D'Artagnan swagger, and a fascist uniform, the proverbial black shirt. He struck me as the kind of flashy twerp who spent 2 hours every morning making sure his hair was oiled and his boots were polished, so he could look his best torturing the day's political prisoners. Furthermore, he was drunk. Why don't you leave the lady alone? Go back to the bar, have some more of that free vodka. He looked like he'd been slapped. His hand twitched towards his holstered Beretta, mine towards the pocket I wished I had a revolver in. Drunks and guns, great combination. He thought better of it.
La chiamerò in un altro momento, Isabella, quando non dovrò annusare I tuoi cuccioli che chiedono l'elemosina.
He staggered off towards the bar.
You shouldn't have done that. He's a very dangerous man. I've known him... too long. He started out pouring castor oil down the throats of dissidents while he was at university. Now they tell me he works for our fascist secret police, carrying out political killings in the Balkans.
None of us seem to know quite what to say to that.
I'm sorry. I hope I haven't spoiled your evening. Please don't worry about the awful man. He is my cross to bear. I hoped I could get away from him by coming here. Apparently, I was wrong. You do forgive me, don't you?
Don't worry about it. Listen, I need to talk to Miss Fine a moment. Would you excuse us?
Certainly.
Thanks. I drew Sonia away out of earshot. Listen, if she's paying Mr. Popescu's way, she ought to be told about his habit.
I thought you were his friend.
I am. I mean, look, I only thought that she might want to help.
Yes, I suppose you're right. Maybe her word will carry some weight with him.
All right, here's what we'll do. I'll tackle her, you distract Popescu.
You've only known her 5 minutes, and already you want to tackle her.
I only meant...
Mr. Moody, I'm sure I don't care who you tackle. I'm just your landlady.
Just a minute now.
Mr. Popescu.
Now I was on the spot. I'd spoken blithely about tackling the Contessa, but I hadn't the first idea what to say.
Why, Mr. Moody? Is something wrong?
Well, see, I've got some bad news. It's about Popescu. I gave her the lowdown. She took it pretty well, no girlish innocence, just wanted to know what she could do to help. We left it that she'd talk to him about it and arranged for him to see a doctor the next day. She asked that Sonia and I see him back to the hotel. I agreed. I wasn't looking forward to the ride back with Sonia. I found her and Popescu conversing with a tall Turkish officer wearing very shiny boots.
Excuse me, Colonel. Mr. Moody, Mr. Popescu, shall we be going?
Yes, let's. I confess I'm just the least bit tired.
We rode back in silence. Popescu fell asleep, and we had to wake him when we arrived. I walked him up to his room, then came back down and joined Sonia in the bar.
Can I have my purse back now?
Oh, yeah, here. I guess I've had it this whole time. You're right, it is a little heavy.
I wonder what could be... Ah!
What?
Look at this!
That's my revolver!
Well, warn me next time. What did you bring it for anyway?
You don't understand. Sayati took it from me in the park. He must have returned it when he bumped into you.
You'd better take it. And this note, too. It's got your name on it.
I forgot to tell the Contessa about him. I ought to warn her. I think he might be dangerous.
Again with the Contessa. She has a name, you know. You don't need to start worshipping her immediately.
I'm going to bed. And I'm taking this bottle. Any objections?
Yes, actually, I have some. You owe me $30, plus 75 cents for the bottle. Now, please. I'll take francs, livre, or long green.
Damn it, Sonia, you know I can't pay that.
Then you can pack up your clothes and leave, Mr. Moody. If you go now, I won't call the police. Demetrios Kariakis will put you up for a week before getting too tough.
Kariakis the Cretan? Yeah, then I'll cut my kidneys out while I'm awake.
Take it or leave it. Otherwise, I call the cops and tell them you won't pay up.
Jesus, Jews. I knew it was only a matter of time.
Get out!
After that, there was nothing to do but make like the old song, pack up my troubles in my old kit bag, throw myself on the mercy of that lunatic Greek and his famous knife, and smile, smile, smile. A hastily written note from Sonia got me through the door at Kariakis' place. I got the feeling that he'd put up some of her rowdier customers from time to time, on her assurance that they could pay once they'd slept it off. Even the most belligerent drunk was unlikely to faze Kariakis. I talked him out of half a bottle of rum. I hate the stuff, but just then anything would have done. And I was almost asleep. Suddenly I heard a noise like half a ton of cut timber falling on a tin bridge. It turned out to be Sonia trying to take the door off its hinges. I don't say she couldn't have. Apparently something about the hotel business requires heavy lifting, because I've seen worse muscles on bantamweight prize fighters. Come to apologize? I might have been a little drunk.
Oh, Mr. Moody, you've got to come right away. It's Popescu. I don't know who else to.
I sobered up, fast. Popescu? What's wrong?
He's been murdered. Someone shot him.
That concludes this, the third episode of The City of Stones. Internationale was written by Zachary Langlois. It was produced by Zachary Langlois and Elise Domien. The part of Jack Moody was played by Justin Miller. The part of Sonia Fine was played by Ashley Hammond. The parts of Ion Popescu and Ibrahim Sayadi were played by Zachary Langlois. The parts of Elsie DeWitt and the Contessa d'Ascoli were played by Corinne Goodman. The part of Alexei Shigalyev was played by Jake Lucas. The part of Gianfranco Tiboldi was played by Alfonso Giansanti. Internationale was recorded at the WHUS studio with the indispensable assistance of Nick Stevens and Jacob Lisa. Be sure to tune in next time for our thrilling fourth episode, Hotel Zion.